Before negotiating a higher salary, know all the factors you need to consider. To help you with this, I created a tool that you can download for free. It's going to help you understand all the various aspects of a job offer and then give you the talking points you'll need to negotiate. I'm going to walk you through how to use it right now. This is the job offer analysis workbook. And so this is a spreadsheet with 4 different tabs, and I'm going to walk you through how to use this. This is actually a workbook that I created for myself that I felt like you would find very helpful as well. So as we go through the video, I have pre-filled in information onto the workbook so that we can see how we would use this and how we would fill it in. When you download the template, it's going to be completely blank. So there's not an exact science to this, and it's subjective so that you can score it for things that you may weigh higher than others. For example, time off benefits may not be as important to you as retirement benefits and things like that. So it's designed to allow you to score things in terms of base salary, time off, medical benefits, other benefits, and retirement benefits. And you're able to score things either worse, neutral, or better based on putting a score of 1, 2, or 3 in the corresponding field there. So the first thing we're going to look at is base salary. Some of these things are going to be comparing apples to apples. So when it's base salary, when it's a medical premium cost, you can annualize those costs and compare them. You're comparing apples to apples, and you can determine which one is more favorable for you. So here, when we put in base salary, we can see that in my current job, I'm making $65,834, and in my job offer is offering me $72,000, so that's more favorable. So I've gone ahead and selected the drop down and said that that's a better for me. Then as we start to walk through some of these other areas like time off, the medical benefits, the retirement benefits, we do see that we're comparing apples to oranges. So I have a tab for each one of those different items so that we can break those out and look at those more closely to determine how we want to score them. And as we walk through the spreadsheet, you're going to see that in this scenario, what I've gone through and done the whole thing, and I see that my current job is a little more favorable than the offer that I got, even though the base salary was higher. So I know that when I go back and negotiate, I'm going to ask for at least $10,000 more because when I weighed out all of the different values to me of the difference in benefits, that's the number that I came up with. So I'm going to show you how we came up with that and give you some tips on how you can approach your potential employer and negotiate for more money. So let's go take a look at the paid days off. This is where we're comparing apples to oranges because you may have a completely different type of time off plan. And so on this tab, where we're comparing paid time off benefits between 2 different employers, I've included 2 of the most typical type of paid time off plans that are available. One is a PDO plan, or paid days off, or a PTO plan, paid time off. And then the other is individual leave plans, where a company may break out separate vacation banks, sick banks, or personal time. With a PDO plan, you usually accrue a certain number of hours each pay period, and then you can use that time off for whatever, whenever you need it. And then some of these other individual leave type plans, there may be rules or restrictions around them. So as we went through the scenario that I put in here, my current plan is a PDO plan, and then the job offer is a plan that offers individual plans. So as I walked through, I scored each of these items over here, the accrual rules, the holidays, the rollover year to year, whether it was payable when I leave or not, and any other paid time off or things that I wanted to take into consideration. And so as I scored all of these down below, you can see that again, my current offer is a little more favorable than the job offer. And so the things that you definitely want to take into consideration are not just the number of days off that you get, but are those inclusive of holidays or on top of holidays if it's a PDO plan? What's your annual rollover amount? Because that came into play when I put a value on that where the new job offer limited how much vacation time I could roll over. And if that's payable when I leave, that is a value or a hidden cost that you could be walking away from in your current job. So you'll notice when we go back to the analysis tab, I placed a high value on the fact that I'd be leaving that benefit behind to take less of a rollover year to year. That would mean less of a payout at the end of the day whenever I do leave the company. So some of these other things, is it payable when you leave? If it's a PDO plan, is there a vesting schedule with it or not? Those are the things that you want to take into consideration. Are there other days off that you can take? Is there paid family leave or bereavement leave that is part of the plan? Now, where can you find this information with your current employer? Hopefully you have a really good HR intranet page or even an HR external website. You can contact your HR department and they should be able to give you all this information. If it's already not in your policy or handbook, it should be on your website. If you have your job offer, of course, you want to reach out to the HR folks who've extended the offer, and you can get all that information from them if they also don't have it on their external website. So back here on the analysis tab, I went ahead and put in the number of days off. And as you can see, based on my current salary, I figured out how much I make per day and the number of days off that I get. And the annualized value the difference is only about $300, as you can tell over here, $83.10 versus $8,600. But the reason that I place such a high value on the benefit that I'm walking away from is because I took the cost of those 4 days plus the future lost carryover by being capped at 240 hours of leave versus 480, which is the maximum that I can accrue in my current employer. And maybe I have that already at my current employer. So that's how I place the value of $9,415 on that as a variance. The next thing that we want to look at is medical premiums. And again, premiums, you want to annualize the cost. So you want to find out if where you work has a semi-monthly payroll, so you have 24 paychecks a year, versus where the job offer is somewhere that has a bi-weekly payroll, that's 26 pay periods a year. Just make sure that you are annualizing the cost of those premiums so that you can look at them apples to apples. And so once you do that, you can see the difference here, that there is a difference in premium of about $2,600, that the plan that I'm going to is more expensive for me for a premium cost. Then the next thing that we really want to take into consideration is the actual coverage itself. So if you go over here on the health insurance tab, this is where we're going to look at comparing the health insurance coverage. And the features that are over here on the left are features that I've pulled out to make sure that you know that these are some of the most important things that you can look at and take into consideration when you're comparing benefit plans to see which plan is better than another. And those are the type of plan that it is, whether it's a traditional plan like a PPO plan, or if it's a high deductible health plan. The other thing is your provider network. Is your doctor that you go to in their network or not? What is the deductible, the amount that you pay out of pocket until other benefits kick in or other coinsurance kicks in? What is the coinsurance rate after the deductible? And then what's your out-of-pocket max? If you were to have a catastrophic claim one year, if you were to have an accident or something, get diagnosed with an illness, and you had to use up all your benefits in one plan year, what is that going to cost you out of pocket? And then also your emergency room cost, your primary and specialist doctor visits, whether or not there's an eye exam, and then your copays for your prescription benefits. So in this scenario, I've walked through all the different options and have scored the differences here. And I find that, again, my current coverage is a little more favorable than the job offer. So I come back over to my analysis tab, and I went ahead and analyzed that a little further, because I ended up giving it a neutral score personally between those two offers, because while the deductible was lower on my traditional plan, the out-of-pocket maximum was much, much higher. So in the hopefully unlikely event that I might have a catastrophic claim one year, I'd be out way more money on my current plan than I would on this other plan. However, this plan, since it's a high deductible health plan, I know I'm going to be spending a lot on all of my costs up to my deductible. So I included that as my variance in that area. So as you keep going through, go through your dental, vision coverage. If those are coverage options that you plan to participate in, just find out what the annualized costs are for those, if there's any difference in the deductibles, how important is that to you, weigh those. And then you get down to the retirement plan. And again, this is another breakout tab where you go over to the retirement tab and you can see now, a lot of employers don't offer a pension plan, but if you are working somewhere where you're eligible and vested in a pension plan, you definitely want to make sure you understand the value of that benefit before you walk away from it. And so what I've done here is explain the difference between the two different types of retirement plans that are traditionally the types of plans that we offer here in the US. And these are your typical defined contribution plan, which is a 401k, a 403b, or a 457 plan. So at my current employer in this scenario, I said I had a pension plus 401k versus 401k only in this scenario. I went through each description over here of vesting rules, how long is it take you to get vested? Is it graded vesting or cliff vesting? These are the things that you're going to want to look at and understand so that you can compare. And then what are the contributions? Is there a company match? You know, the pension is funded, but there's no match on the 401k, so maybe I do or don't participate in that. These are all things that you're going to have to look at for your own choices and for yourself. Versus looking at the employer match over here, we know that based on the job offer and the benefits that the HR person gave us, the benefit summaries, we know that they match 50% up to 5% of your salary. So taking that into consideration, we scored these. They scored very similarly. So we came back over to the analysis tab and just plugged in the difference in the match compared to what the pension plan values for you as well. So here again, the job offer was a little less favorable, and I was able to put a value on that. So those are all the things that I used to come up with this $10,000 figure, roughly $10,000 figure. So now that I have all the values figured out, and I know I'm going to go back to this employer and ask them for about $10,000 more than what they initially offered me. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to approach it. I can either email them or call them and let them know that, hey, I am thrilled to have gotten this offer. Thank you so much. I'm excited to join your team. But I have taken an opportunity to look through, and I've considered time off benefits. I've considered the differences in the medical costs and medical coverage, as well as the retirement benefits. And there were several factors of things that were richer plans where I currently am or I'd be walking away from. And so I'd like to ask for, at least $10,000, I'd like to ask for $82,000 and go from there. And, they could come back and negotiate with you. There are other things that you're going to want to take into consideration, not just the base salary. Again, there are things like your commute, the actual job itself, the people you're going to be working with or the people you're leaving. A lot of these things are going to factor into your decision, not just the compensation package, not just the pay and benefits. But this tool is going to give you everything that you need to analyze and look at, and it's going to empower you so that you can go back and be confident in what you're asking for when you negotiate more money. To download this tool, click on the link in the description below this video. I know you'll find it helpful next time you evaluate a job offer. Visit my website, SharonSmithHR.com, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions on how to use this workbook, leave me a comment below. Thanks for watching.